incompetent as the Minister is in answering our question, I want to give the Cabinet Secretary a moment in the sun today as well, and move to different areas of policy. I know we have differing views about the virtues of EU membership generally, but I hope that the Cabinet Secretary will agree with me that being outside the common agricultural policy and common fishing policy and the single market does give us the opportunity to have higher standards of animal welfare than obtained in many areas of the EU. And in one area in particular, in relation to fishing, at the moment the EU permits something called electric pulse fishing, which involves putting electric current through the water, usually about 60 amps, so there's quite high intensity, and stunning fish, which are then dragged by nets into the boats, and that this has a number of unfortunate effects, not least on the fish themselves, because that method tends to break fish's spines and cause a great deal of internal hemorrhage. The trawling at the seabed denudes it of all wildlife. And traditional catches are caught up in this as well and are discarded. And if we recover policy responsibility for this area, we'll be able to ban electric pulse fishing, and I wonder if the Welsh Government would commit itself to that.
You're quite right when you say we have very differing views around Brexit, but I've always said we would look at opportunities. I think we have very high animal health and welfare standards in Wales, and I would certainly not want to see those drop at all. In relation to your specific question about banning that specific type of fishing, it's certainly something that I will be considering in great detail.
Well, I'm grateful to the Cabinet Secretary for that answer. Another area which could also lead to an improvement in animal welfare is if we banned the live export of animals. At the moment, the EU estimates that around 4 million cattle, 28 million pigs, 4 million sheep, 243 million poultry and 150,000 horses are transported for more than 8 hours within the EU. And once we're out of the EU, we will be able to stop the British element of that. I know there's not a great deal of that which comes from Wales, but nevertheless, every little helps, as the famous supermarket says, and we will be able to make our contribution to the improvement of an important element of animal welfare.
Yes, absolutely, and certainly my preference would be for animals to be slaughtered as close as practicable to their point of production, and I think again that is something which, as you say, doesn't have a huge effect on Welsh exports. However, it doesn't matter how small it is. I would certainly want to have a focus on that.
Well, I'm grateful again for the Cabinet Secretary. This note of amity is very welcome in the Assembly. I'm sure everybody will agree. The third area in which I think we ought to be able to improve animal welfare is by the installation of CCTV cameras in abattoirs in Wales. The larger ones already do this, but the smaller ones, on the whole, don't. Out of the 29 abattoirs in Wales, I believe 18 that are not monitored by CCTV, and they are generally the smaller ones. But it seems to me very important that we, and I think important for farmers generally and agricultural industry generally, that the public has confidence in the food which is put on the table and the methods by which it is produced and processed. And in order to keep up public support for farmers and agriculture generally, we need to be proactive in showing that animals are kept, and when they are killed also are killed in a humane way and to the highest possible standards of animal welfare. So this is an area, I think, in which the Welsh Government could take an initiative even at the moment before we leave the EU, and I wonder if the Cabinet Secretary will give further consideration to extending the existing controls. Absolutely.
I had a meeting this morning with the Chief Veterinary Officer on this very topic, because you'll be aware we had the consultation previously. England are looking to do this, Scotland are looking to do this. I have to say the vast majority of certainly large slaughterhouses do have CCTV, but I am very keen to look at making it mandatory, to see what package of support would be have to be made available, because I think that is the way to improve standards and practices and keep that confidence that the public have. So I've got officials working very closely on this matter, and I will be bringing forward a statement to this place in the not too distant future.
Question